Hi, I'm Sonia and I help people take their power back. If you're interested in working with me or want to support my channel, the link is in the description below. In this video, I want to talk about why repetition is so important when it comes to manifesting something different than you are experiencing right now. Auto-shitism. Choosing the thoughts you want to be true and rejecting the rest. I see you, Bubba. You want to come over here? My dog's coming over here. The repetition is the key. Because right now, I need you to be honest with yourself. I want you to take whatever situation it is that you are manifesting or the thing that you're manifesting, if it's your SP or money or house, like whatever it is, I want you to be honest with yourself and tell me if the thoughts that you think the most about how your SP is with somebody else, or you don't have the money, or you don't know where you're going to live, is that your dominant thought process? Is that what is being reflected back to you? You are repeating that story over and over and over and over and over again without even realizing that you're doing it. That is why the repetition of something different is so fucking important. You can't just say it like once and then allow yourself to think all the old crap and think that it's going to change anything, because the way that you got yourself into this situation is by continuously thinking about how it wasn't the way that you want it to be and how it couldn't be the way you want it to be and all that stuff. And all the stuff from past beliefs about people and things and like money, all of your past beliefs about money and how you believe you earn money and money that, whatever it is. All of that stuff is running on autopilot, and if you do not repeatedly shift it to something else, you are going to get more and more of the same crap. That is why people find this like challenging, is because they don't understand that if you want a different experience, you cannot be thinking about how all of this shit is not the way that you want it to be. That is what you have to shift. You have to let it go. That is no longer true. This is what's now true. No, that is no longer true. This is what's true. That is why personally I like robotic affirmations, because that's how my brain works anyway. I get very stuck on things, so I just pick an affirmation or two, and it's like whenever I start catching myself thinking things that would not allow me to, or would not support what I want, I get rid of that shit. I focus on what I do want, regardless of what I'm experiencing or what's been true in the past or whatever. Because that is how you change this. It is by continuously changing the story. Now, does that mean that every single thought you have needs to be from the new reality, the new story? No. When you catch yourself, you need to shift it. I found when I first was starting to do this to have times throughout the day when I would specifically affirm, because part of it was just memorizing, like, this is what is now true. The repetition. When you went and learned the alphabet when you were a child, did you just like see the alphabet and have it memorized? Probably not. You had to repeat it over and over and over again. That's why they made it into a fucking song, so that children could remember it. Anything that you learn takes repetition, and this is no different. It's no different. The difference is this is something that you didn't know you were doing this. You didn't realize this is how things work. So you are so used to basing all of your thoughts off of the 3D, being very quote unquote logical, being like, well, this happened, so this means this, and that means that, which is all just your assumptions. You assumed all of this. It was proven to you to be true, and it became a belief. And now you function your entire reality off of those beliefs. Well, guess what? If you continuously make a new assumption, it will become a belief. It'll become what you just think naturally. Your thought process will change on the topic, but it takes the repetition to get you there. And it takes practice to get good at catching your thoughts when you are used to letting your brain do whatever the fuck it wants to. That's where mindfulness comes in. This is where people are like, meditation can be extremely important when you're learning to do this shit. If you are not used to identifying what your thoughts are and not only identifying that it's a thought, but stopping it and shifting it to something else, you're just allowing your brain to do whatever the fuck it wants to. And that makes this a lot harder when that is what you need to be doing. Noticing when you are thinking things you don't want to be thinking, stopping it and shifting it to something else. That doesn't mean if you need to, you could say stop. If your brain just goes crazy, say stop, say it out loud. Your brain will listen to you. But you have to replace it with what you want to be true instead of what currently is or has been in the past. That is the key to this shit. And the repetition, doing it over and over and over again. As much as you bitch, moan, and complain about your circumstances and how this sucks and how this, you have to be thinking that things are the way you want them to be. That has to become your dominant view. Does it matter if you fuck it up sometimes? No, but do it again. Get back on. I just saw somebody talking about this being like walking on a balance beam or practicing gymnastics. If you are walking on the beam and you fall off the beam and you want to be an Olympic gymnast, you fell off, do you just give the fuck up? No, you fucking don't. You get back on and you do it again. This is no different than anything else that you learn to do. Whether this is read or play a musical instrument or mastering whatever you do for a job, going to school. You didn't know how to do any of that shit, but you fucking learned. This is no different. But this is a journey of self-discovery and learning about you. And I say this a lot. Yes, all of the knowledge of what other people can share can help you understand what you need to be doing. But at the end of the day, until you apply this shit and you figure out what's going to work for you, you're not going to get results. You're not going to get the results that you're going to get if you decide that you are your own science project and you are going to do what is best for you and fuck everybody else. Because at the end of the day, you set your rules. This works however you think it works. But at the base of it is that your thoughts are what create. What you dominantly tell yourself is going to be proven to you to be true. And the more that you experience it being true, you believe it, and the less you have to sit here and fucking affirm that that's how things are. Just like you expect things to be this way, in this way that you think right now, you will expect them to be the way you are affirming. But it takes repetition and it takes practice to get good at catching your thoughts and being good at not giving a crap what other people say to you or what happens, and just being like, I'm still getting my shit. I'm still getting my shit. It doesn't matter that they just said that. I'm still getting my shit because I always get what I want. Because I'm too fucking good at this. I know exactly what I'm doing. Not allowing yourself to focus on things you don't want so much that it upsets you, and then you're spiraling out of control, and then you're just like not happy. That's all on you. You chose to think the thoughts that are making you unhappy. I know a lot of you probably don't want to hear that, but that is the fucking truth. Because your thoughts create your emotions. And if you are thinking a thought to the point where it is upsetting you emotionally, you're thinking it too fucking much. The thing that comes to mind, this is a weird example, but I've thought about this before. If you are familiar, not with the movie version of The Shining, not the Stanley Kubrick version, but the Stephen King version. So the book and the miniseries. In the miniseries, there is a point, so spoiler alerts if you are not familiar with it, but this to me just really exemplifies kind of what's happening, which is weird. Yeah, I have loved this book and this miniseries since high school. It wasn't until a little bit later that I saw the movie and at first didn't like it because it's very, very fucking different than the miniseries and the book. The book is way more like the miniseries, but it's a little bit different. But basically, if you're not familiar with the story, Danny is a little kid. He's like 4 in the book and like 8 in the miniseries. Yeah, whatever. He's just a little kid, and he has the ability to like predict the future and like do that kind of shit. They call it the Shining in the book. Have these like supernatural powers, and his dad gets a job at a haunted hotel where they're going to stay for the winter, him, his mom, and his dad. And when they get up to the hotel, the cook who works there also has the shining, and he can tell that Danny has the shining and is like, okay, so you're gonna be fine, but there are things in this hotel that are gonna seem very, very real, but they are not. And because you have this gift, you need to know that if you see something you don't like, that see something that scares you, it is like pictures in a book. It is just pictures in a book. So when you see something that you don't like, you want to look away and count to 10 and it'll go away. And Danny's like, okay, I got that. They're like pictures in a book. And the example that they use, Dick asks Danny, have you ever seen a picture in a book that scared you? And Danny tells him that his dad read him a book about Blackbeard, and there was a picture of when the wife, Blackbeard or Bluebeard, whatever, I don't know, tells his newest wife, don't go in this one room. She goes in the one room and finds the heads of all his other dead wives. And that picture scared Danny. And so he's like, yes, I know what you mean, that book pictures can be scary, right? So they go into the hotel, they start touring the hotel. He sees some shit, he looks away, looks back, and it's gone. He's like, okay, it's like pictures in a book. So they're staying at this hotel. They're in, like, I think, yeah, it starts snowing. The whole thing with this hotel is it's up where they're going to be snowed in for the winter, so they can't leave. And so the snow has fallen. They're stuck up at this hotel, and Danny keeps getting this urge to go into room 217. And Dick told him specifically, do not go in that fucking room. Do not do it, because something happened in there and you don't go in there. But Danny just has this pull, has being called, he just has to do it. And he ends up going in room 217 and sees a dead woman in the bathtub who gets out of the bathtub and starts chasing him. And he's runs away being like, not real, not real, not real, not real, not real. He gets out of the room thinking, I'm good. It's not real. It wasn't real. But then she grabs him and it was very fucking real. The whole thing was, do not let them into your head. And Danny let them into his head by going into that room. And from there, shit literally starts to manifest that should not be there. His dad's an alcoholic. There's not supposed to be any alcohol. There wasn't any alcohol. But all of a sudden, there's alcohol in the hotel. Shit like that. Shit starts manifesting. The hotel and the ghosts in the hotel become real because Danny allowed them to. That is how manifestation works. As long as you do not let it into your head, it will not become real. And that is a choice. You choose what you think about. When you find yourself thinking about things that you do not like, you fucking stop yourself and you pick something else. It is a choice. And as long as you continue to think the same shit over and over and over and over again, that's what you're going to get. So you need to think something different over and over and over and over and over again in order for it to change. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Love and light.